Okay, so just when you thought Erling Haaland couldn't possibly give us another wait what moment this summer, he goes and tops himself with one single photo. A few days after wrapping up what might be the most talked about individual World Cup run we've seen in years, Haaland drops a picture of himself standing arm in arm with Michael Jordan. And yeah, the internet basically lost it. Today, we're breaking down exactly how this whole thing came together, what fans on both sides of the pond couldn't stop talking about, and why this photo is honestly just the latest chapter in a summer where Haaland has basically taken over American and now British pop culture. Let's get into it. To really get why this photo blew up the way it did, you've got to remember where Haaland's summer was already at. The guy just led Norway to their first World Cup in 28 years, was scoring at an absolutely ridiculous pace, and somehow turned himself into a household name in the States along the way. He flew home to Oslo on July 11th, famously bringing back a taxidermied raccoon as a souvenir, because of course he did. And instead of taking a breather, he went straight to a Dolce & Gabbana show in Italy with his girlfriend Isabel. So by the time this Jordan photo hits, it's not really coming out of nowhere. This guy's crossover fame train had already left the station. Quick pause if you're enjoying this. Smash that like button and subscribe because we're covering every single stop on Haaland's post-World Cup victory lap as it happens. Takes 2 seconds, seriously helps us out. Okay, back to it. So here's the moment. Haaland posts a photo to Instagram and X, arm draped around Michael Jordan's shoulder, both of them grinning like old friends. And true to form, this guy just does not do extra, and the caption is literally just no caption needed. That's it. 4 words, and he lets the photo do all the talking. Within minutes, it's everywhere, and fans in both the UK and the US are basically saying the same thing. How are these two just hanging out together? Once people actually sat with the photo, they started picking apart every last detail. Both guys are dressed for a chill summer hangout, sunglasses, shorts, the whole vibe. Haaland's got this perforated black polo going with Hermes sandals because obviously, while Jordan, 63 years old and still looking sharp, keeps it dead simple in a white tee and sneakers. Fans on Twitter, especially over in the UK, couldn't get over the styling gap. One guy's dressed like he's walking a runway, the other's dressed like he's grabbing coffee. Somebody joked it's basically 2 completely different definitions of cool standing in the same frame, and honestly, fair. But the thing everyone really couldn't let go of wasn't the outfits, it was the height. Haaland is 6'4", a guy who spent his whole career towering over defenders. And in this photo, he looks noticeably smaller next to Jordan, even though Jordan's only listed 2 inches taller at 6'6". US fans were in the comments losing their minds. One person straight up said, "This is the first time I've ever seen Haaland look small," and British fans were right there with them, joking about camera angles and secretly wondering if Jordan's just built different. Now, yeah, photography nerds will tell you angles and posture can mess with how tall someone looks in a photo like this, and sure, that's probably true, but nobody on the internet cared. The jokes kept coming either way. Beyond the fit checks and height debates, a lot of people were just genuinely curious what on earth these two even talked about. You've got 2 of the greatest to ever do it in their respective sports, and fans in the US and UK alike were joking they'd give anything to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation. One comment that really stuck out to me was someone pointing out how rare it is to see Jordan smile that big in a photo. Like, this isn't a guy who just grins for anybody. That tells you something about how that meeting actually went. And that's really where the bigger conversation started. A lot of fans framed this whole thing as a changing of the guard moment. 2 GOATs, 2 completely different sports, 1 photo. Jordan's still arguably the most recognized athlete in American sports history, full stop. And Haaland's had this insane rapid rise to that same kind of global recognition just off the back of 1 World Cup. So when you put those two guys side by side, it stops feeling like a random vacation snap and starts feeling like something a little more symbolic, like a passing of the torch in a weird cross sport kind of way. And honestly, this didn't happen in a vacuum. It's just one more thing in what's already been a wild stretch for Haaland. Around the same time, he was on record talking about his favorite memory from the whole tournament, his second goal against Brazil in the round of 16, saying it was the best feeling of the entire World Cup and that it happened so fast, he's still not sure he fully processed it in the moment. He even joked he's not sure he'll ever hit a high like that again. So between moments like that, the fashion show appearances, and now hanging out with Michael Jordan, it's pretty clear this guy's relevance in the US and increasingly the UK too isn't slowing down anytime soon, even weeks after Norway's run actually ended. Part of why this landed so hard, I think, comes down to who Jordan is. He's one of those names that transcends the sport entirely. You don't even have to follow basketball to know exactly who he is. So when he's the one publicly co-signing Haaland like this, it hits different. It's not just, look, two famous guys hung out. For fans who'd already fallen for Haaland's personality all World Cup long, it kind of felt like an official stamp of approval from American sports royalty itself. At the end of the day, this is just the latest example of how deep Haaland has planted himself in pop culture this summer, and I don't just mean in America anymore. Raccoon Souvenir D&G Runway, now a viral hangout with Michael Jordan. This guy's post-World Cup victory lap keeps generating headlines that have absolutely nothing to do with soccer. Whether these two ever link up again or not, this photo's already locked in as one of the most random, most talked about crossover moments of the whole summer. If you enjoyed this one, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Haaland story, because at this point, genuinely, who knows who this guy links up with next.